YouTube, it's your boy, it's Jalil, man. Jalil, if you didn't know, that's my name. And we're reacting to how good, actually, how good was Jerry Rice? Now, they said it's the best receiver of all time. NFL, that is, of course, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, it's debatable in my opinion, but we're finna see how good he is actually, because this is before my time zone. I'm not gonna lie, I'm 22 years old. So Jerry Rice was playing in like what, 80s and 90s, my guy. So yeah, this is way before my time zone. I don't know how good this guy was. I didn't watch this guy play a lick of football. I just know that he got hands, and he's one of the greatest of all time in the rest when it comes to being a receiver. So without further ado, let's get to the reaction video now. Hit that like button, comment some more views that you react to, and don't forget to subscribe, my boy. Roll to 300. And shout out to Blitz with the video, I'm not gonna lie. Check out his account.
Organized football. You went to a college you've never heard of, and yet
College never heard of. What school do you go to?
intervened. He made
Alright, don't worry.
may never have played organized football. You went to a college you've never heard of, and yet you went on to live in the end zone on Sundays and atop the NFL record books forever. So, just how good was Jerry Rice actually? While most future NFL players spent countless nights as a kid dreaming about making it to the league, that was the furthest thing from Rice's mind. Growing up in a Mississippi town with a population of just 600 people, he was the sixth of 8 children.
You know, I think growing up in Crawford, Mississippi is just like all family. Everybody, they were very close.
With 8 kids to provide for, Rice's parents had to work nonstop to just put food on the table. Mrs. Rice would clean the houses of rich families, while Mr. Rice was a bricklayer, in addition to a handful of other random jobs. In an effort to chip in, Jerry and his brothers would often pick corn, cotton, carrots, and bale hay.
Well, it was very tight, but I think it taught us the meaning of hard work and dedication. You know, we didn't have everything, and we had to wait out our turn for clothes, for everything.
By the time he was in high school, Rice's focus was so far from one day making the NFL that he still hadn't even played organized football. He loved playing it outside with friends and watching it on TV, but his mother thought that it was too rough for him to join his school's team. Then, on one random school day, Rice was doing something he shouldn't have been, and everything changed. His school's assistant principal caught him and a friend skipping class, so Rice fled the scene like his life depended on it. The assistant principal was so blown away by Rice's speed that he told the football coach about it. The coach immediately offered Rice a spot on the team, but there was a problem. His mother still didn't want him to play. However, the more she fought it, the more her son was determined.
I'm not gonna lie. Football is a dangerous sport, man. The CTE is serious, bro. A lot of players get CTE from that sport, bro. So the mom had a good reason not to let her son play football. But dude started skipping class and started booking it, man. The coach was like, principal was like, hold on, he's kind of fast, though. We should have get him on the team.
To make it happen.
Dude didn't even think about getting him in trouble. He was like, we should get him on the team. He fast.
So she eventually gave in, and Rice's football playing career was officially set to begin.
After I got disciplined, then the principal wanted me to go out for the football team. And
Were you great right away?
No, not at all.
Every day that summer at 7 a.m., he and one of his brothers joined his father laying bricks for 8-hour shifts on scorching hot days. Jerry said, "My brother and I, we had developed this technique where you throw the bricks up, they were separated, and I was snatching them in the air." Doing this over and over again sharpened Jerry's hand-eye coordination and increased his hand strength. He also said the experience taught him the true meaning of hard work.
We had a responsibility, and you had to live up to it. You had to help generate and bring money into the house.
And as if those daily grueling shifts weren't enough, after work, Rice would get
Wait. He would work with his dad, laying down bricks. And him and his brother used to throw the bricks, throw them so he can catch the bricks with bare hands. Yeah, yeah, he got that one, brother. I'm not catching no damn bricks. What's up, Smitty? I ain't catching no goddamn bricks with my bare hands, man. Jerry Rice is tripping, man. That's some elite dedication to this.
Dropped off for a 2-hour football practice, and once that was over, he'd then run 5 miles to get home. Rice said he wasn't the most gifted or talented player on the team, but he had something that none of his teammates did: an appreciation for and a love of hard work. By the start of his junior season, Rice was in unbelievable physical shape and ready to finally show the world what he could do on the gridiron. He played on both sides of the ball as a wide receiver and defensive back, but because his school was so small, most of his stats weren't officially recorded. But according to a sports journalist from back then, Rice, as a senior, caught 50 passes for 30 touchdowns. But whatever the actual numbers were, he did enough to earn himself a Mississippi All-State selection and attention from major colleges. Over 40 D1 schools contacted Rice, including his dream school of Mississippi State University, but none of them believed in him enough to offer a scholarship. The only program that did that was Mississippi Valley State, a Division I AA school. Reflecting on why he eventually committed to them, Rice said, "Mississippi Valley sent up a coach and I had a chance to have a conversation with him and shake his hand. That goes a long, long way towards making you feel you can really trust someone." Rice also explained, "At the time, they were also throwing the ball about 90% of the time, so it was a great opportunity for me. They assured me that the ball was going to be in the air, coming my way, and then it was up to me to prove to everyone that I could be a professional athlete." He arrived on campus eager to prove Mississippi Valley right for believing in him. As a freshman, he caught 30 passes for 428 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rice followed this up the next season by catching 66 passes for 1,133 yards and 7 touchdowns. It was a very solid start to his collegiate career. Playing at such a small program, Rice knew that he would have to put up eye-popping numbers to get the attention of teams and scouts at the next level. His junior season would most likely make or break his chances at going pro. The task was even tougher for him than people realized. As he said, the food given to him at school was not enough for a growing man. Times were so hard for Rice that he often had to rely on his friends for food. But this lack of nourishment never stopped Rice from getting in extra work with his quarterback. The duo became
Dude couldn't eat a full meal because he was so broke. He had to rely on his homies.
Inseparable, as they would get in hours of additional reps together late at night. That season, their chemistry on the field was impossible to miss. Rice set NCAA records for most receptions with 102 and receiving yards with 1,450, on his way to being named an All-American. Just in case that didn't send a loud enough message to the NFL, Rice somehow managed to take
that's impressive as hell. I'm not gonna lie. 102
with 102 and receiving yards with 1,450, on his way to being named an All-American. Just in case that didn't send a loud enough message to the NFL, Rice somehow managed to take his game to another level as a senior. He broke both of his records with 103 receptions for 1,682 yards and set another one with 27 receiving touchdowns. Having been named an All-American again, Rice shattered every Mississippi Valley receiving record, finishing for 301 receptions for 4,693 yards and 50 touchdowns. During his collegiate career, he broke 18 NCAA records. It didn't matter what school he played at. There was simply no debating that Jerry Rice belonged in the NFL. Legendary 49ers coach Bill Walsh fell in love with him watching his college highlights. Walsh's team was coming off 2 Super Bowl victories in the previous 4 seasons, and he believed...
How the hell did they get Jerry Rice then? See, the NFL be tampering, bro.
Rice would keep
that New York Knicks Patrick Ewing shit,
them
bro.
at the top. Walsh described him as a swift, smooth player who's got great instincts running with the ball, going to the ball, and catching in a crowd. This analysis inspired San Francisco to get aggressive on draft day and trade their first, second, and third round picks for New England's first and third round picks. So, with the 16th pick of the 1985 draft, the 49ers
This Cuddy felt a 16th pick? I thought they were tampering with evidence. This Cuddy with... Alright.
did...
Oh no, that's a New England Patriots? I'm a Patriots fan. What are we doing? Why we didn't get Jerry Rice? Oh man, who is the GM?
Something Rice never thought would happen. They drafted him.
San Francisco 49ers select 16th pick in the first round.
Yo, this old nigga been doing this for a long time.
Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
Years later, he admitted, "To be honest, I never thought I was going to get drafted. Heading into his rookie season, Rice was determined to reward the 49ers for taking a chance on him. He also wanted to show everyone that he belonged in the league, and his insane college numbers weren't just the product of poor competition. But what ended up happening was Rice was putting too much pressure on himself. In his first 13 games, he only had 28 receptions for 493 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looking back on this slow start, Rice said, "I think I wanted to prove myself so much that I overdid it. I was dropping footballs, and then the media got down on me, and the fans started booing me." While this treatment would have caused some players to spiral out of control, it was a wake-up call.
Wait, this dude started getting booed his rookie year? Bro had butterfingers?
For Rice, he tapped into his old ways by becoming the first player on the field for practice and the last one to leave. And everything came together in Week 14 against the Rams, when Rice exploded for 10 receptions, 241 yards, and a touchdown. 2 weeks later, in the regular season finale, he had 7 receptions for 111 yards, bringing CBS announcer Pat Summerall to boldly declare,
"He is going to be a great receiver. Barring injury, he's going to be one of the best to ever play."
It was an extremely strong finish to his rookie campaign and generated a ton of buzz ahead of year 2. Everyone was anxious to see whether it was a fluke or a sign of things to come. The 1986 season would provide an emphatic answer to that question. Rice went out and led the league in receiving yards with 1,500.
Bro, you had 2 good games and the goddamn come through was like, oh, he's finna be a legend, man. He's finna be the greatest receiver of all time. Or I ain't lying.
Emphatic answer to that question. Rice went out and led the league in receiving yards with 1,570 and touchdown receptions with 15. He showed flashes of brilliance, as there seemed to be nothing that he couldn't do. Rice had the ability to catch a short pass and then make defenders miss, beat them deep with his speed and route running, or out-jump defenders to win contested balls. As a first-team All-Pro, he was now filled with confidence. Rice built off his brilliant season with what was possibly the greatest season ever by a receiver. In the strike-shortened 87 season, Rice managed to rack up 1,078 yards and a league record 22 receiving touchdowns in just 12 games. To this day, the league record is only 23 receiving touchdowns, which Randy Moss did in 16 games. Rice had officially established himself as one of the next faces of the league and was named Offensive Player of the Year, becoming the first wide receiver to ever take home the award. Having already filled his resume with a handful of personal accolades, the only thing missing was team success. And in 1988, Rice set out to check that box off. He put together another dominant regular season, which was good enough for his 3rd straight first-team All-Pro nomination. That postseason, he put San Francisco on his back and helped them to a Super Bowl appearance with 10 receptions for 194 yards and 5 touchdowns in the team's 2 wins. Then, on the game's biggest stage, Rice etched his name into NFL history. While leading the 49ers to another ring, and his first, he set 2 Super Bowl records with 11 receptions for 215 yards. Rice becoming just the 3rd wide receiver ever to be named Super Bowl MVP capped off one of the most...
He nice. This is equivalent to, like, if you throw the ball his way, he's gonna catch it every time. He's that one player you play with in Madden when you just throw the ball to him and he just catches everything, bro. This is unstoppable. How do you even guard this Cuddy, bro?
Dominant postseason stretches ever by a...
This dude is just going back to back to back and breaking his own record. Like, bro, what the hell kind of shit is this?
Receiver. Feeling on top of the world, things somehow only got better for him. The following season, Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns with 1,483 and 17 before winning his 2nd ring. And again, he rose to the occasion in the Super Bowl with 7 receptions for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 1990, Rice won the league's unofficial Triple Crown for receiving by leading all 3 main categories with 100 receptions for 1,502 yards and 13 touchdowns. Realistically, Rice couldn't have scripted his first 6 seasons any better. He already had enough accomplishments to last an entire career. By this point, it was just accepted that Rice was unguardable. No matter what scheme an opposing defense concocted, he was going to get open. And over the next 4 seasons, Rice only continued his reign of terror on opposing defenses. During that stretch, he amassed a staggering...
Okay, I'm not really a football guy, I would say, but I understand the game and I watch it a little bit. But as a coach, right? Don't you just double team him? like double team good receivers.
374 receptions for 5,409 yards and 52 touchdowns, leading the league in receiving yards and touchdowns twice, respectively, and adding another offensive player in reception to get open. And over the next 4 seasons, Rice only continued his reign of terror on opposing defenses. During that stretch, he amassed a staggering 374 receptions for 5,409 yards and 52 touchdowns, leading the league in receiving yards and touchdowns twice, respectively, and adding another Offensive Player of the Year award. And to cap it off in 1994, Rice brought home his 3rd ring while making more history. Just as he had done in his first 2 Super Bowls, Rice made...
Bro, the 49ers won it every year in the 80s? Like, what the hell is this? I mean, not the 80s. The 90s and the 80s, bro, this is like their 7th time winning a championship.
It looked like he was playing against a JV team. He finished with 10 receptions for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. This took his combined totals in that particular game to historic levels, as his 28 receptions for 512 yards and 7 touchdowns were all career Super Bowl records. As people seem to take Rice's greatness for granted at this point, it would take him doing something truly special to surprise anyone, and that's exactly what he did during the 95 season, as he set a league record for most receiving yards in a single season with 1,848. It wasn't until 1997 at 30.
What? 1,000? What? Hold on, bruh. 1,000? Wait, 848 receiving yards in a season? Yeah, this nigga's the greatest receiver of all time, bro. There's no debating that. What the hell? What was happening out there? Were they now the Garden?
5 season, as he set a league record for most receiving yards in a single season with 1,848. It wasn't until 1997, at 35 years old, when Rice started to look human for the first time since his rookie season. In the 49ers season opener, he tore his ACL and MCL. And as unbelievable as this sounds, Rice, up until that point, had never missed a game throughout high school, college, or the NFL. And while this injury should have forced him to miss the entire season, Rice ignored doctor's orders so that he could return in time for Joe Montana's jersey retirement. In that Week 16 game, Rice electrified the crowd by catching a touchdown in his return. However, there was a cruel twist. As he came down with the ball, he cracked his left patella. This time, his season was officially over. Coming off these serious injuries.
Wait, hold on. The dude's injured. He goes anyway because Joe Montana retired and the jersey's getting retired. So he goes to play anyways. He goes to play. He scores and then gets injured even more. That kid's just insane.
Injuries, people began to wonder how much he had left in the tank. And heading into his 14th season at the age of 36, this speculation was more than fair. But if anyone could find their way back, it would be Rice, the workhorse. He grinded all offseason, rehabbing his knee and trying to regain his form. In yet another chapter where Rice defies all logic, he went out and became the oldest receiver ever to record a 1,000-yard season. He followed this up with 2 more solid seasons before the unthinkable happened. Having suffered 2 consecutive losing seasons, the 49ers decided it was time for a rebuild and said
they trade our boy Rice?
Goodbye to the longtime face of their franchise. After being released in the 2001 offseason, Rice signed with the Raiders. Now,
oh yeah, that's where players gonna die. Yeah, retire, my brother. If they send you to the Raiders, my nigga, they send you to die, bro. Just retire, bro.
39 years old, with 16 seasons under his belt, he should have been running on empty. Instead, Rice managed to do things that only he could do. He put together back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns and led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl appearance in nearly
led is insane.
20 years.
That is crazy to play for such a long time. I had conditioned my body in a way that I could.
This thing might be the LeBron James of football.
Play for a long time.
But for the first time in his career, Rice came up short in the big game. Despite his 77 yards and a touchdown, the Raiders lost to the Buccaneers. That season, he was named an All-Pro and Pro Bowler at 40 years old, an unprecedented accomplishment for a wide receiver. After a frustrating 2003 season and start to 2004, Rice demanded a trade. 6 games into that year, he went to Seattle in exchange for a 7th-round pick. But Rice couldn't really find his footing there and left during the following offseason. offseason to sign with the Broncos. However, he never wound up playing a snap for Denver and retired prior to the start of the 2005 season.
I'm done. I'm looking forward to the next phase of my life now.
On his way to being named first-team All-Pro 10 times,
This man played until he was like 43.
Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns 6 times respectively. When it was all said and done, he owned virtually every significant NFL receiving record. Some of the more notable career ones were receptions with 1,549, receiving yards with 22,895, 1,000-yard receiving seasons with 14, and total touchdowns with 208. To this day, Rice still owns NFL records for most career receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Nobody has even come close to some of these, with Rice having over 5,000 more yards than the next.
Yo, this Cuddy is insane. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Who the hell's Isaac Bruce? Why is his career so damn short?
Closest person and 41 more touchdowns. From the eye test to his individual records to his team's success, there is no debating Jerry Rice as the greatest wide receiver of all time, nor his spot on football's Mount Rushmore for all players, regardless of position.
Dude, that nigga is nice, bro.